ready to kick off another session. Unknown what to do next. Probably should check that out. Actually, okay. Still unknown what's the best plan of action. Let's go in here because we're close to the door.
What were you thinking? The museum. That was my event. Did you think I wouldn't find out? Shut up. I thought I could control my sister as long as Tongue was out of the picture, but nothing's changed. I should have expected that you'd succumb to Jeanette's influence like all the others, but how dare you!
A lot of screaming.
Don't lie to me! Jeanette already confessed she tricked you into doing it. It was probably all Tongue's idea. I'll deal with them later. But that's still no excuse for you ruining my museum. Excellent. I'll take that. However, Jeanette claimed you did it for her. But let's say I believe you. After all, you've acted decently and rationally up to now. I imagine you'd still like me to call off the feud. There's only one problem. If Tongue gets word that I threatened Jeanette, which he most certainly already has, it's not likely he'll believe me. So, in order to call off the feud, you're going to have to convince Jeanette to forgive me first. I made some threats against my sister. Idle threats, involving fire and her impious satin sheets. She took them quite seriously, and is avoiding me. I want to meet with her, and explain that they were said in the heat of the moment. I asked her to meet me at the Surfside Diner, to reconcile, but I'm busy with the club and my other endeavors. I'd like you to go to the diner and promise her that I don't plan to take any action against her. Wait for her in the back booth, near the phones. For all her unwholesome diversions and irritating disruptions, I should be less tolerant of her. She is my sister, however, and I suppose I'm obligated to forgive her her trespasses. I did sire her, after all. Please, be quick about it.
And Therese has those two little sprigs of hair that stick up from the back of her bun there. And I was working on her model, and I'm like, I don't know, I was going to take those out. They look so weird, but they certainly do look like horns. So I had to leave them in. You never know what these people might put into the game on purpose. Oh yeah. So we were going this way.
Have seen the squirming on the horizon. The worms are stripping the foulness from the skull of...
Hello, LA. You're a great master. Hope you slipped into something comfortable. I know I have. If you're new to town or just new to this whole radio thing, you're listening to The Dead of Night. The only girl who will spend the night with you and leave first thing in the morning, guaranteed. Well, looks like the birds are lighting up. Aren't I the popular one? Let's see. Who will be the lucky...
Caller.
I have seen the squirming on the horizon. The worms are stripping the foulness from the skull of the earth. We are living in the last days of the last age.
It's still back and forth thing. We do have a plan, though. I believe we have a date. All of this crazy maneuvering is leading up to a date. Let's see. This should be our date. No. Okay, completely going the wrong way. And this is what I was saying about those wings. This person is lying on the table correctly because his head is on the short pad, and his body is towards where the hole in the table is, and the wings are, going this way, but his legs would have to be broken and bent back some crazy angle to be strapped to those supports there. So those supports are it's one thing Triton does a lot. The supports are facing the wrong direction, and they did that, I guess, for Heather. Ooh. Mr. Crumb lying on the table. All right, so now we have a date. Just slide back on into that alley there. There you go. Okay. Hello.
Hey there, Foxy Mama. Come back for a little more powdered sugar from your security stud?
Uh-huh. So this was our whole purpose for all of that dialogue we chose. So that we could have Mr. Chunk as our blood doll. But the only unfortunate part is there's sort of a short window for when he's useful. Like you have seen. I don't actually know. I think when we go into the diner, everything is over. But we do want to go into the diner first. Of course, we already know that it's already going to kick off. Bang, bang. Well, that was horribly successful and a little bit lucky. I believe we're we're going to take success. And the line cook is totally oblivious, completely happy.
I'm terribly sorry about that. My sister was just furious about your refusal to take part in her designs, so she sent those men to kill you. But I'm going to make sure it never happens again. Drop by. We'll take care of this tongue business. She's crazy! Help!
Crazy. Yep, just taking care of business. No problems. Okay. Then we need to do this. I always forget to do that. Unfortunate, unfortunate. So I did want to check this out. So we have these two values, and I'm going to change one of these to a different number because a lot of people say those have to match, and that's the way you reconcile the sisters. But that's a big no. They just have to be 4
I'm really
or greater.
Sorry it had to end this way. I truly am. You seemed promising, but you've been tainted by the stink of my sister's schemes. And now I'm going to make sure she never double-crosses me again. Don't listen to her. She'll kill us both. Save me and I'll help you find Bertram. I swear. Shut up, Jeanette. I warned you to stay away from Tongue. He's turned you against me. I always looked out for you, but you couldn't stand my success. You had to meddle, didn't you? I didn't want it to end like this, but you forced me. You never gave me any credit for anything, Therese. I was the one calling the shots. Bertram was dancing on my leash. How does it feel to know that I beat you? Isn't it obvious? I'm about to rid the night of this deviant, backstabbing whore. Do you realize that despite her condition, she still fornicates with kind, no less? So despicable. So unclean. You're one to talk, dear sister. Or should I say daddy's little girl? Do you want to know just how depraved the Baron of Santa Monica can be? Shut up, Jeanette. You'd love the world to think you're a saint. When you thought I was asleep, I used to hear Father come in at night. I heard him whisper how much he loved you in your ear before he... Don't finish that sentence, or you're dead.
And then I did want to go through this dialogue, even though I've been through it 10,000 times already. Because, again, people say there's a certain way to go through this, but it's not actually true. There are variations, and the variations are kind of important, and because they're a prelude to what will happen later in the museum. And so I just want to show that, and then we'll show that same thing in the museum, which some people have complained about.
Don't you want to hear what happened? How she became the pillar of the community she is today? Shut up. Just shut up! Don't try and stop me. I've had to overlook her treachery, her seduction, relations with my enemies, and the consequences of it. But I won't endure her any longer. Endure me? Dear sister, you've done everything you could to smother me. You love to bury me in your closet, along with all your other skeletons. I'm the good girl. You're the wicked one. You've done nothing but plot against me, when I had our best interests at heart. And despite that, I've always covered up your mistakes. I've taken care of you. And this is how you repay me? Taken care of me? You've done nothing but keep me down, blame me for every mistake. Did you expect me to let you rule my life until the end of time? No, sister. You've had it coming since our last sunrise. Is that right, dear? If it wasn't for me, you would have never survived this long. Remember? They tried to separate us, but I refused. I chose this life, and brought you into it so that we could stay together. Obviously, you've forgotten. She's a control freak. People, things, emotions. If she can't control something, she gets rid of it. And you're a wild animal. You'll rub up against anything that'll take you in for the night. Then when you're stuffed and bored, you bite the hand that fed you.
So far, just a lot of threes.
I don't think that's possible. How could I ever think to trust her again? Trust me? Who could trust you after what happened with Father Dearest? Her father loved me. I was a good girl. I always did what I was told. You always hated that he loved me. You disobeyed him. You brought men home when he wasn't there. You were an awful daughter to him.
Still threes?
Father came home drunk one day and mistook me for Therese. Because I'd fallen asleep in her bed. Don't listen to her. She's lying. Therese walked in while he was there, and she saw me lying with him, and so she went to the closet and pulled out his hunting shotgun, loaded it with deer shot, and blew his mind out all over the silly clown wallpaper. That's a lie. Father killed himself because of Jeanette. She made him miserable. As I recall, he died with a smile on his face. Why? How will this time be any different?
Okay, so this is what I wanted to show. And most of the guides say you have to do 3 here, but you don't. You can do
I'd
1.
be better off without her. Have you been paying attention? Oh, yes, Therese. Without me, you'd be free to remake this city in your own image. It'd be the first beachfront morgue.
And 1 again.
What? Her body was cold before she died. What an awful thought. Do you know the things she does with her body? How vile!
And then 1 again.
Therese doesn't like to share. Jeanette's irresponsible. She's undependable. A venture like mine requires class and distinction, which is something a pigtailed, face-painting harlot does not lend very well. You do have a way with words, sister. You're right. I'm not in the same class, am I? I mean, murderers are so respectful these days.
So that's one of those branches where you can you have a bunch of options and you can go through them in any order. And so is this.
But I only do it for attention and out of love. You do it because you're vindictive and jealous, and you deserve it.
But if you step outside of the loop of options, then everything goes off the rail. So that's the mechanic.
More responsibility. So that she can ruin every opportunity I give her? Of course. You're the only one who can secure zoning permits and shake hands. I'd never be able to keep up. If she would stop treating me like a child, if she would start behaving like a rational adult. Yes, there was a time. When I was a child, I didn't have many friends. I suppose Jeanette was the only one. We never did get to go out of the house much. Father wouldn't allow us. He said we'd get hurt, so we stayed inside and we imagined our own worlds. And we spent so much time there together, ruling over those places. Those were happier times, before we grew apart. I never did, no, I guess I don't. Jeanette, if I were to offer you equal control in Santa Monica, would you quit consorting with Tongue? I'll stop working against you with him. But since I've got him in my pocket already, there's no reason for me not to pay him a little visit once in a while, when he can be of use. That's not a bad plan. There's just one more thing. I want to be in charge of Santa Monica, but only publicly. I want you to continue to convince others that our relations are strained. That way, we know who our enemies are. I agree. Take it. I'd hate to look at it again and think of what almost transpired. I suppose now that Jeanette and I have settled our differences, I'll call off the feud with Tongue. Bertram's hiding in an empty oil tank at the old gas station. I'll tell him to expect a visitor, and I'll ask him to be extra nice.
Okay.
Please give Santa Monica's regards to the prince, and keep your tongue tied about what happened tonight, or we'll have to kill you.
And then we get booted. That's the big payoff for saving the sisters, I guess. Is to get booted out onto the streets. Okay. So the feud is called off. And we're ready to go assault the Foxy Boxes. But oops, hello. Before we do that, if you get this in this position, you just have to select ranged again, and then that's not ideal, but let's see. And then people say that combat is just a mad clicking, left clicking event, but it really isn't, because I've been trying to, I guess some people probably know I've been playing Skyrim for a few days and working on that, and then I totally lost the rhythm and the timing for the combat here, because to make maximum use of your abilities, it's like a what do they call that? Anyway, you get your turn to hit and they get their turn to hit. You get your turn to hit. And so it's really important that you time your click to your slot when it's your turn to hit. Otherwise, you just waste it. And that is pretty frustrating. So this guy is super dangerous to me because... Oh, that's a bad start. That's a too bad. Oh, I didn't get him knocked down, so... Oh. I need to keep him knocked down. It was a bad timed swing. So that was the... you have to time your swings perfectly to try to keep him knocked down. So when he's crawled up, if you swing too early, you waste your swing. And if you swing too late, when he jumps up, he's got his blade ready and he gives you a quick slash. So it's super easy to die with my astonishing combat. I'm using unarmed now because it's my most effective. And that is another thing you see people do a lot. They never check out what's their most effective weapon. Actually, it's my only weapon, I guess. So that's a good reason to use it. We'll go tell our friend that we've succeeded.
Yo, girl, you do that thing yet?
I did.
Right on, girl, yeah. Hey, I'm sorry again for what happened before. Still haven't heard anything from Bertram, but I'll let him know about how good you did and about how you were cool about everything. And yeah, oh, man.
We weren't really cool about everything.
Bertram said it's like a vampire, but different, you know? It's like what they have in China instead of vampires. He said lots of them have been coming to California for some reason, I don't know.
Okay, see you, Knox. Boom, loud music. I think our friend is gone now. We'll go investigate, but I do believe he leaves as soon as you go into the diner. Which is kind of an unfortunate thing. So our next step would be explosive beginnings, but we'll go stand outside the door for explosive beginnings. But that's going to be quite a long episode of going through the explosive beginnings, so I think we will save that for next time.
Souls, redemption cannot be bought and sold. There is no mercy.
We might talk about that next time as well. So here we are, ready to pick up with Mr. Time, Bertram. So thank you for watching.